Hello, welcome back to Morning Qi Gong, sponsored by a generous grant from Rapids Regional Medical Center, our real life heroes right now, ongoing, and of course by the Alexandria Museum of Art. And as you can see, I am parked right outside the front door in celebration of almost being inside the museum, which should happen next Thursday. I think is the 16th. Today is Saturday the 13th. So Sunday, be Tuesday, Wednesday? I can't count. The museum will open to members on the 16th, which is in a couple days from now, being the 13th today. Tuesday, should be Tuesday. Go gadget calendar skills. They will open to non-members on the 30th. I have not yet received a green light from Catherine about when we will resume Qigong. I'm going to assume next Saturday, but once I know for certain, I will of course let you guys know, and we will resume masked and distanced, but inside, which I am thankful for, not only because it's a beautiful facility and we get to see the artwork, but because, I don't know if you can hear it, it's a little windy out here still. It's also very, very hot. Summer is well on its way to Louisiana, and breeze notwithstanding, it's getting warm. So outside class at 10:30, a little sweaty. So, but once I know for sure, I will let you know. I do want to say this before we get started. I want to send a huge congratulations and shout out to Cindy Blair. If you know Cindy, she is an educator here at the museum. She is extremely talented. She runs the luminary parades that you see at the festivals downtown. I want to say 4 times a year. She is an extraordinary creative artist. She is an extraordinary educator, and a neat person too. Also a Tai Chi student, so hey, she's got that going for her. But more importantly, she was just given the job, and I don't know the exact title, it's kind of long, but she is now in charge of the museum's video and live feed outreach. She's now their video media go-to person. I'm very proud of her. Cindy, over the last 2 months or so, since this has started, has absolutely put the bar atmospherically high for those of us who are trying to continue community outreach and community learning systems as we go through the pandemic. And Cindy has just really, well outshined all of us. She is phenomenal at this video thing. So if you happen to see Cindy and you haven't talked to her recently, definitely congratulate her. It is a position well earned. I hope it came with a big old fat raise. I hope you're listening, Catherine. She deserves it. She is really knocking it out of the park every single time. So that being said, my humble efforts will continue, such as they are. I'll get some tips from Cindy. We can start resuming personal contact again. I can get with her and get some tips and pointers on how to do this thing. Nothing super strenuous this morning in terms of lessons, in terms of mentality. I do want to reiterate though, as long as you are showing up, as long as you are putting in even a little work, as long as you're coming in and working for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, however long it takes, on your time schedule, as long as you are moving slowly, breathing deeply, and relaxing in terms of physical and mental strain and tension, as long as you're making the effort, you're going to see benefits. And I want to stress that. As long as you're making some sort of effort. We mentioned yesterday in the Tai Chi practice that our Grand Master Shen Man Xing said to practice 10 minutes a day, twice a day. Once in the morning, once in the evening. 20 minutes practice a day. Now, you've, I'm sure, heard of musical prodigies who, practice 3, 4, 5 hours a day. Of course, Olympians practice, these 8-hour days. Professional racers practice like mad. Everyone puts these hours and hours and hours in. to my knowledge, we're not trying to reach an Olympian status. I don't think anybody out here is trying to become some sort of a world Tai Chi champion or a world Qi Gong champion of any sort. What we're doing is working for ourselves. We're not working for adulation. We're not working for rock star status. We're working for ourselves. So the idea of practicing anything 8, 9, 10 hours a day is on the face of it ridiculous. No one has that kind of time to put into it. But it's also counterproductive. You certainly could do Qigong 8 hours a day, and you might develop some interesting muscles, and it might help you mentally, but you're going to find, in my experience especially, that if you play your form once a day, if you manage 5 days a week out of 7, that's pretty good. That's really good. And you'll see results. Again, as always, not immediately, but you will see results. If you're managing once a week, if you come to class on Saturday morning and you come to the museum and you have class with us and you go home and you don't again until next Saturday, you're still going to see results. You're not going to see, rocket-like results. You're not going to be speeding along, but you're certainly going to see improvements. Anything you do to improve yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, every little bit adds up. This is a cumulative effort. Could you do more than once a week and see some improvements, more improvements? Certainly, yeah. If you do it once a day instead of once a week, you'll see faster improvement. But it's not required. It's not necessary any more than the uniform's required, any more than anything is required of this system, other than calm, mindful movement. So, as long as you're putting the time in, as long as you're showing up, you're watching the videos, you're practicing at home, you may have the little half sheet we used to have here at the museum, you may have the image off Facebook I posted a while back. As long as you're doing something, you're moving forward. And that counts. That really does. I can tell you for a fact, having fought with depression my entire life, when you are in that state or in a similar state, it is profoundly difficult to do anything. So if you're finding yourself depressed, if you're finding yourself in that constant parasympathetic fight, flight, or freeze mindset from the pandemic and the numbers going up still, and the lack of concern about everybody else in this community, if you find yourself immobilized by that, if you can get up and do standing tree meditation for 5 breaths or 1 breath, if you can do 1 posture with us, then you're doing something, you're moving forward, and that's a big deal. Don't think it's not. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. If you can do something, anything, it will add up. It will add up. And then every time you come back to it, it'll get a little easier until you're doing the whole half hour with us, until perhaps you're doing once a day with us, until maybe you're doing twice a day if you're getting really froggy, or if you're doing your Qigong and some Tai Chi, or if you're doing your Qigong and some Zazen, if you're doing, whatever you're doing, it'll get better. It'll take time. It'll take practice. You may have to lean on your friends for it. Maybe lean on your family, lean on me. It's all right. You do what you got to do to keep moving forward, even if it's 1 single step a day. So, if you do nothing else today with us, 1 sow. If you do nothing else, do this 1 sow with us. Come back tomorrow, do 1 sow. You'll get there, 1 brick at a time. So, here's that 1 sow. shapes. Shoot tiger. stars fall to earth. Table. once he sits on the throne. Step forward. That's all it takes. One step at a time. Whether it was one sow, whether it was the entire system, you did something. You moved forward. Continue moving forward. Whatever you could do, move forward. If it's simply one sow, you're moving forward. That's the thing. I have been on my particular path for a long time, and I was started on that path by a little book called Zen Flesh, Zen Bones by a writer named Paul Reps, R-E-P-P-S. It's a great read if you're interested in Zen spiritualism and Buddhism. But in the back they have koans, little simple lessons that move you forward on the path to enlightenment. And one of those little tiny koans, or the little one statement lesson, is that we find enlightenment in that minute pause between the end of your breath out and the beginning of your breath back in again. In that moment, you live. To me, and solely as my humble experience, the experience is to simply attempt to live in the moment, which is really, really tough. But when you can focus, when you can practice, and you keep practicing, it gets better. Those moments last longer. When you finally find that little moment between the breath out and the breath in, and you can live there for a moment, it makes a difference. It happens. It may not happen often, especially at first. It may not happen for months and months when you first start. But like anything, it is practice, repetition, staying with it, staying with it, staying with it. And like I said, if this morning, if you managed one sow, and you can come back tomorrow or next Saturday and do one sow, that's how you stay with it, one step at a time. It does not take that much. Then you get to where you're doing half an hour at a time, half an hour a week, half an hour a day. It all adds up, every little bit. So, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for watching. I am happy to say that I am finally starting to get the hang of getting videos from here to YouTube. It's a little longer and more complicated than I thought it would be, but it is Facebook, so I guess we have that to be expected. But I am getting videos up. As soon as I get a few up and get something like a web page up where I can list them out, I will start doing so. Hopefully the next week or so, that'll happen. Right now, if you search the last 3 days, if you type in the title of this video on Facebook in YouTube, it should come up if I've done it properly. I think I've set them up as public viewable. You should be able to type in, for instance, Qi Gong, Friday, June, whatever Friday was, the 12th, and it should pop up. You should see me and you should see this video. And like I say, as we move forward, I'll get this more together. This is still very much a learning process. So thank you for your patience and bear with me. We will get it going. And as soon as I can manage it, levytaichi.com will be a functional website and not just a fast router to Facebook. So we'll see. Fingers crossed for me. If you have any experience in web design and want to donate your time and effort, it will be gratefully appreciated. And I will do what I can to pay you back in some way. So tomorrow is Sunday. We'll resume tomorrow morning with the regular Levy classes at home, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. I do hope you can join me. If not 8 a.m., then when you can join me, as long as you're joining me, that's the important thing. Moving forward, build that foundation. Continue to be safe. I keep hearing the numbers out there, and it's not getting any prettier. It's not getting any better. So please, please be safe. I don't want you to find out that you're in a hospital practicing your Qi Gong with me. As always, be well, and I mean that spiritually and physically and mentally. And I will see you